This morning, this surveillance video obtained by our station WPVI appears to show the terrifying moments a gunman wearing a bulletproof vest opened fire at random in a residential neighborhood of Philadelphia.
You took my son. You took my baby.
Marie Merritt's son was one of 5 victims killed Monday night. The shooter also opening fire on a car driven by a woman with her 2-year-old twins inside. One was shot and wounded, the other injured by flying glass.
This armed and armored individual wreaked havoc, firing with a rifle at their victims, seemingly at random, shooting 7, killing 5, including children, babies.
The suspect, who allegedly surrendered, was identified by sources as 40-year-old Kim Brady Carricker, whose previous run-ins with the law include drug and gun charges. Meanwhile, in Fort Worth, Texas, 3 people were killed and 8 wounded at a holiday event. Police say multiple gunmen fired into a crowd after a dispute between rival groups. So far this year, the U.S. has seen at least 348 mass shootings, defined as having 4 or more victims injured or killed. That number has nearly tripled in the last decade. Experts say one factor is gun demand, and therefore gun production has been steadily rising since the pandemic. One survey found 18% of American households bought a gun during the pandemic. Police say the streets have been flooded with more weapons, prompting more people to opt for gun fights instead of fist fights. As for the alleged shooter in Philadelphia, police are still investigating a motive. The suspect is due in court today.
As the world sizzles with consecutive heat waves, temperature records are being broken fast. Last month was the hottest June ever recorded. But scientists are warning that it's only the beginning, with the consequences of El Niño around the corner.
So El Niño hasn't had as much of an effect as it's going to later in the year. So we're seeing these high temperatures in the North Atlantic, etc., despite the fact that El Niño hasn't really got going yet. We can expect much higher temperatures from the El Niño in the latter half of the year in sort of October, November time.
El Niño is a climate phenomenon that occurs when warm water builds up along the equator in the eastern Pacific. First observed in 17th century Peru, El Niño is cyclical and happens every 2 to 7 years for 12 to 18 months. It leads to heavy rain in South America and California, or conversely, to little rainfall in Asia and Australia. This, in turn, can cause wildfires and droughts, as well as outbreaks of diseases such as cholera. It was particularly devastating in 2016, the warmest year ever recorded. But scientists warn that a return to El Niño conditions on top of climate change makes it almost certain that a new global temperature record will be set in the next 5 years.
It's fascinating what's happening in this field right now. I mean, FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that. So it is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens
We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals. That's what we are. Maybe the most important exchange in this respect will be in healthcare. The big battle over what we today call privacy will be between privacy and health. Do you give access to what is happening inside your body and brain in exchange for far better healthcare? And my guess is that health will win, hands down. People will give up their privacy in exchange for healthcare, and maybe in many places they won't have a choice. I mean, they won't even get insurance if they are unwilling to give access to what is happening inside their body. But control of data might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself.
Also be clear, the future is not just happening. The future is built by us, by a powerful community.